Hello and welcome to GeoKloud Academy. In our today's video, I'm going to show you how to do a quick embellishment in the QGIS software. So let's just get straight into it. So here I already have a map frame that I want to work with. And if I want to begin my process, I can just go Control P. Okay, Control P. Apologies, I hadn't activated my layout. So Control P, and I don't need to add a name, but I can actually do that. So let's say map of airport that I'm trying to create. Okay, so once I've created this, I can actually start bringing in features to my map to be able to begin working. So I am a fan of neat line, and I'm also a fan of using the guides, which we have at the top and the left side of our screen. So if you want to join me in using guides, so by your left hand side you should see guides here. So we have the horizontal guide and as well as the vertical guide. So just for you to add them, then as well, you can just easily drag them up to where you want them to be to position appropriately. So I'll just quickly do this. So one of the things I'm a fan of is creating a neat line on my work, which ArcMap introduces me to. So unfortunately in QGIS we don't have that, so I do improvise. So if I want to get about that, I use my alt text label. Once I just click on that, I'll click at the beginning of where I want it to start and drag to where I want it to stop. So because it's a text label, it comes with a text. I'll have to remove the text. Once I remove the text, I'll go down to add a frame. So just scroll down to add a frame. Once I've added my frame, I'm not going to do anything with this particular feature right now. So I can just come up and lock it up. So now let's begin adding features in our map. Our map, our scale bar, our legend, our north arrow, and in most cases our title or description as it may be. So let's begin with our map. So if we want to bring in our map, we'll just come here, see this icon, take note of it, add map, click on it, then drag it and draw. So once we have brought in our map, for whatever reason, probably want to change our scale, we have that on the right hand side under the item properties. So remember, the lower the scale, the larger the map, as the scenario may be. So let's go 40,000. So while that is loading up, I'm interested in also moving my map. I'm not interested in position of where the shape file I have is created. I want to centralize it. I'll come to my fourth icon, move item content. I click on that. I now have ability to move my map. I can zoom in and zoom out as the case may be using the move item content. But if I'm on the third icon, which is the select item, I won't be able to actually zoom out, zoom in as the case may be. So I think let me just turn off my base map quickly so that it will enable me to be able to move my items faster. So let's assume I have this. I'm zooming in, zooming out. This is thanks to the move item that I have. And as always, I can always edit from the scale. Once I've gotten to a location I'm okay with, I'll just go back to select item instead of move item. I have my map now. I would like to create grids for my map. So still under the map item, I'll just scroll down. We have grids here. Navigate to grids. I click the drop down, plus grid 1, modify grid. So we have different types of grid. We have the solid, which draws the grid lines across our map. The crosser marker, which basically just drops an indent at the intervals of our map. Then we have the frame and annotation only, which just gives us our heading around the map. Once you've selected that, change your interval to fit segment width. Then let's just scroll down to where we have draw coordinates. Once we click on that, in most cases we may have our coordinates drawn up, but in very few instances we don't have our coordinates drawn like I am. So what I'll just do is I'll scroll back up to where I have the interval and just drop one of these. It doesn't have anything to affect, so once I drop it I can return it back to 50, but it's just for the activation that I did that. So in much recent version of the QGIS, I don't need to actually have to go up to actually sort that out. I can actually, once I click on draw coordinates, it immediately shows up. So I changed my format to what I'm interested in having. We have the decimal with suffix, and as the case goes on and on. So my left and the right, or left and right, I don't want them to be vertical, horizontal. I would like to change them to vertical. So just still under that draw coordinates, I have left, I change to vertical ascending, and right, I drop that to descending. Once that's that, I'm okay with that. I can as well decide to change the precision of my coordinates, probably maybe by 2 or by 1, depending on what you want. But I'll just keep mine at 2 because that's where we have more figures for accuracy. So once I'm done, I can go back and I'll be able to generate my grades. One other thing I can do is to add my scale, my north arrow. Click on north arrow, draw it to the position you want to draw. Then just by your right hand side, you have other north arrow options you can play around with or select from, as the case may be. But because of our learning, I will stick with what we have right now as default. I have my north arrow. Then let's bring in our scale bar. So just click, then drag, it brings that in. So we have our scale bar reading in kilometers. We can as well always change it from kilometer to whichever scale unit we want to work with. Then what we can just quickly do to change the appearance of what we have, because we can't see, let's say because of the elevation data I'm using, we may not be able to see the labeling. I can click on the drop down, then under font, I'll select the font, then just come down a bit. Then we have color. I can change the color to white so that we can be able to see what we have. Then lastly, I'll bring in this not legend rather. So in much recent versions of the QGIS, when I bring in my once I bring in my legend, it doesn't impend all I have on my working folder or rather my working canvas. But here I still have to actually manually edit that. So let's just go through the editing process together. So I would like to put in legend as my heading. So in most cases people don't put anything. We have also key and what fits what you're working on. I'll just scroll down to where we have legend item. I'll click on auto update to turn that off, and only layers that are showing on my layer, or rather on my map view right now, are what I'll leave behind. So once you've selected those, just scroll down, you should have this minus, so that enables us to remove all those items. And here we go. So because this is not a state, I made it state. I can always change the legend from here and draw this to where I want to drop it, and that's that. So let's quickly go and mix up the base map that we have. Yeah, so let's activate that quickly. So let's be that I want to add a label or rather its title. I can create a frame for my map quickly. Just activate that here. Then go to my add text, draw it outside, then probably airport location. Let's assume this is my title. I'll scroll down to where we have appearance, fonts. I can then fix up my right up here. 20 is fair enough. I can always change the font, but I'll leave the font as it is. Scroll down a bit to horizontal alignments, I'll centralize. Vertical alignment, centralize as well. Then just fit this to a proper good location. And once that's done, I can adjust everything to where I want it to be. And I'm done with that. Once I'm done with that, I can now export. So I can go to layout and choose either I want to export as image or PDF. So for what we're doing, I'll export as image. So if you're exporting as image, ensure that the image is in PNG. Once I'm okay with this, save. It brings up a dialog. Our resolution, you can keep it at 300, but the more information you have and the more you want to display, we increase the resolution. But for starters, I'll keep mine at 300. Save. And once that's saved, let's quickly view our map that we just created. And here we have our embellished map. So what mapping topic would you like us to cover next? Let us know in the comment section below. If this tutorial helped you, please give this video a like and be sure to subscribe to GeoKloud Academy for more tips on creating impressive and effective maps. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy mapping. See you in the next one.